up, give it up. I can give it up. We got to, for once, we're all here healthy. I mean, can you believe it? We're all here healthy. You know, no bug, no flu, no
Playing at 100%, full health, no issues, no travel issues. We're good. We're good. I just want to let everybody know we're going to be at Lucky's Pub downtown on St. Emmanuel Street, and we hope to see you down there.
I have to say something. Yeah. Watch the fight Saturday night. My man, Max Kellerman.
He's the real deal.
You're the real deal, baby.
Thank you, brother.
You're very good, you. You are very good, you.
It's easy when you get a couple of great fights.
There you go. There you go.
It was fun.
Great
Donovan,
job.
good
Great
to have
job.
you with us.
Thank
you.
Stephen A., I want to start with you here. Who are you more concerned about right now, the Patriots or the Falcons?
Believe it or not, it's the Patriots. I look at Atlanta, certainly their youth, and that's something that Max can touch on or what have you. Here's why I'm concerned. I think you genuinely look at the Atlanta Falcons and you see a more talented team.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm looking at that Tom Brady, and as great as I know he is, I'm like, he's 39. You know? I'm thinking about Rob Gronkowski. Oh, he's hurt. Okay. I'm thinking about Martellus Bennett. Well, he's never been here before. He's playing with Jay Cutler last year, for crying out loud. I mean, this is a whole new stratosphere for him. I'm thinking about guys like that, and I'm thinking about a defense that doesn't break but bends quite a bit where you can get at them. It's one of those Super Bowl contests where I look at the New England Patriots and I'm saying to myself, they had better be ready. Atlanta's coming. And it's not because of T.I., whatever nickname he wants to use. It's not because of anybody else. It's because I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons and I'm saying these brothers are studs, and New England has to bring their A game in order to bring home a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that. The Falcons are probably the more talented team, but Bill Belichick has made a career out of making the more talented team at the end of the game go, what just happened? I mean, it's one of the reasons when Spygate broke, or even Deflategate, it made a lot of sense to people because Marcellus Wiley, my former broadcast partner here at ESPN, talked about this.
Saw him the other day. It was good seeing my brother in L.A.
Yeah,
live.
Marcellus, the mayor of Los Angeles.
He's the man.
So, but he used to talk about at the end of the game, he'd be like, what just happened? I know we're better than them. I know we're more talented than them, but somehow they beat us. And so it's Belichick and the scheming and all that. But in this case, it's more than that. The Falcons are relatively inexperienced. And I just think to last year's Super Bowl, the Broncos had been there, the Panthers had not, and it seemed to me obvious from the beginning of the game that experience was playing a role, that guys were tight, that they didn't know exactly what they were doing. Doesn't mean that an inexperienced team can't win the Super Bowl. They can. There's a first, sometimes guys come in, they've never done it before, and then they kickstart a dynasty. It has to start at some point. But it can play a factor, and that can particularly be exposed when playing a very experienced team, and that's what's about to happen.
In the beginning, I was going to go with you, Stephen A., and you're absolutely right. The thing that I worry about the New England Patriots is them going in complacent. With Tom Brady, we have the best quarterback to ever play the game. We'll be fine. Julian Edelman's been there before. But we can't say that about a lot of guys on that particular football team. Martellus Bennett's never been there in that position, especially this offensive line, this defense. I lean more to New England, but I have to go with Atlanta. And the reason is because of the same things that we went through in 2004. A new team coming in. We finally got over that hump. Now it was kind of live or die for us at the quarterback position.
When you say Atlanta, you have to go with Atlanta, meaning you're more concerned
I'm more concerned about Atlanta because, the thing for Atlanta, we talk so much about the firepower with Julio Jones and the running game and the number 2 and 3 receivers in Gabriel and Sanu, but we never really talked about their defense. This is a defense and their defensive back, their quarterback, who's been penalized more than any defensive back in the game. This is a guy who's probably going to have to guard.
What are you talking about here?
Alfred.
Okay.
Alfred on the outside. They don't have Trufant. So now you got a secondary who will be playing against pretty much probably number 2 receivers all across the board. Julian Edelman's really not a number 1, but he's a number 1 in that offense. You have Chris Hogan, you have Mitchell, you have Martellus Bennett, who's not Gronkowski. So now you have pretty much a group of guys that you're competing against. And can they get the pass rush? Can Beasley get to Tom Brady quick enough before he gets the ball out? What will you get from Dwight Freeney? And that's the question that
the spin move.
The spin move, but he's also in his 30s.
That usually works,
It does, but he's also getting late in his 30s.
It's one game.
Even with one game, though, even with one game, you're asking a lot from an older guy to come in and be that guy. He's not Haley coming off the end from the Dallas Cowboys. Dwight Freeney's a great piece to the puzzle, but do they have enough in their front 7? They're athletic. They run sideline to sideline, which I think the matchup with their linebackers and Dion Lewis and the rest of their running backs, I think works in the favor of Atlanta. But can they get pass rush enough that we've seen the Houston Texans be successful with? And can they do that in the Super Bowl?
Well, here's my deal. If Jadeveon Clowney, just his second or third year in the league, can get a pass rush, and I like Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney also is bigger than Beasley.
He's bigger, but Vic Beasley, 15.5 sacks. That's not an accident. #1 in the league. That's not an accident. We got to give respect where respect is due. We got to understand the attention that he's going to draw. We got to understand how that's going to free up Clayton, how that's going to free up Dwight Freeney and others, and see where that goes from there. I also would say this to you. To buffer your argument is the fact that because New England has a bunch of number 2s, Atlanta may not know who to key on from moment to moment, whether it's Amendola, Edelman, or a guy, you know, it could be somebody Hogan or anybody else. But here's why I say I'm more concerned about New England. It's not because of complacency. You have to remember that when the Eagles, your Eagles, played against the New England Patriots, that was in the throes of them. I mean, people talk about them being a dynasty. They then went 10 years without winning the Super Bowl. 2 times they lost to the New York Giants. Why did they lose to the New York Giants? Because the New York Giants had a front four that could go at them, that you didn't have to blitz them from all over the place to sit up there and get at Tom Brady. Can Atlanta do that? I know it seems like a tall task, but I can't ignore the Beasley factor.
Know what the problem is? Even if they do that, because the Texans had great success doing that.
Right.
Brady still hung 30+ on them. Now, I know the Falcons.
Well, I mean, they gave him a couple gifts with Osweiler
no doubt about it. And also, the Falcons are going to score a lot, too. Falcons are going to score a lot, too.
True.
But still, it's 30+. Now, you can sit there and say, yeah, but that's like special teams, returning a kick for a touchdown, stuff like that. But that's the point about the Patriots. Even when one phase of your game is extremely successful, the offense still is not, ain't bad. And meantime, they'll win in the other 2 phases of the game. Yeah. They are just so well
offensively,
coached.
They're very similar when you look at the Texans and also the Atlanta Falcons, although there's more explosive plays because of the quarterback. But DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, there's Sanu and Fuller and those guys. It's still the same, but Matt Ryan has to protect the football all throughout this game.
And speaking of Atlanta, only 4 of the Atlanta Falcons have been to a Super Bowl before, but they do have the NFL's #1